Alright. Hey, what's up, everyone? This is the Shooting Game Weekly, episode 6, and this week we're checking out Touhou 12, Undefined Fantastic Object. Touhou games, of course, I mean, they're kind of known. I mean, would you say the Touhou games are the innovator of like what do they call it, curtain fire, or is it Danmaku, the actual term? And by the way,
I think Zun invented the term invented the term curtain fire as a translation for Danmaku, but I don't think they're like the innovator, or they're the creators, they're innovators, but
yeah, but Touhou, I guess, is really kind of like, it's kind of identified with the curtain fire type of bullets and crazy bullet patterns and stuff like that. And yeah, just some brief introductions here today. It's just me, no Frenetic, but he'd probably say something like, "Hey, it's me, dog, Frenetic in the house," or whatever. But yeah, also joined by rngmaster, who's just talking a bit there.
Hi.
Yeah, and also joined by Naut.
Hey guys.
Hey Naut. And both of these guys are better Touhou players than me. In fact, I would barely call myself one. I played a couple of the Touhou games a little bit, but Naut, I know you have a pretty beefy score in the Lunatic mode of this game. Was it 1 billion points?
I think it's like 2 billion or something.
Yeah,
whatever.
and then and I know rngmaster, you've played this game as well, so you guys are pretty familiar.
Yeah, I cleared it on Lunatic, but I'm not nearly as good as him.
Yeah, so this episode, yeah, it will be somewhat of a higher level type of commentary, looking at the Lunatic mode, and yeah, so just the Lunatic mode is the hardest difficulty mode in the Touhou games. The Touhou game's gonna have that weird difficulty where normal kind of feels like easy mode, and then hard kind of feels like the normal mode. But to be honest, I never really played the Lunatic modes. Like, what do you guys think about like the difficulty modes in the Touhou games?
I mean, in general, they're probably a bit easier than most other shmups, but I mean, the patterns are fairly difficult, but you get a lot of resources, so you get a lot of chances to try how good you are at the patterns and stuff, so it's good for training your skills and things.
Okay, yeah, because yeah, the hitbox is really tiny in these games, and that definitely helps for dodging the kind of facilitates the really wacky bullet patterns that we're gonna see in this replay. So yeah, since we are looking at a Lunatic, this is the world record replay, is it not?
Yeah, this is the current world record.
Lunatic world record.
So yeah, this is Shooting Game Weekly first, checking out a world record run. So yeah, definitely going to be some scoring going on, and in this game, the scoring, I don't know, you guys want to try to explain this one? You could probably do it better than me, but it's based on like kind of filling up these UFOs with point items, and then cashing them in. Like, you guys want to give it a shot?
I'll probably explain it as we're watching. There's a couple points in the replay. It's
pretty self-explanatory, but yeah.
Okay, well, yeah, well, okay. There's like the 3 different color UFOs, and there's enemies that drop these UFOs, and okay. Well, I'll let you talk about it as we go through.
It's fine. About the difficulty thing, UFO is considered to be the hardest game in the series to clear on Lunatic.
Oh, really?
But it took me about as long to clear it as it did to clear the first loop of Ketsui, so the Touhou games, even on Lunatic, aren't really huge hitters in the difficulty scale, compared to an arcade 2-all, anything like that.
Oh, yeah.
Mainly because of resources, like not mentioned.
Right.
But yeah.
Oh, so you're saying they're a little bit easier, it's a little bit easier than an arcade. Kind of crazy.
Yeah, even at their hardest, just a basic clear is probably easier, but
that's cool, because yeah, I know. I mean, even myself, I've always been kind of intimidated by the pretty patterns of the Lunatic modes, but that's nice to hear that they're not that much harder than an arcade game.
Yeah, in my clear, I just fucking bomb through everything. It's all about learning how to get lives and bomb through everything. But this guy's a badass. He circumvents all that.
Yeah, I did see him do some like straight up sacrificing just to get bombs and stuff. So yeah, you don't seem too far off the mark there.
Mhm.
All right, well, why don't we just get this replay going then, and let you guys take it and try to explain the scoring system as we go along.
Sounds good.
All right, I'll do the countdown. You guys ready?
Mhm.
Okay. All right. 3, 2, 1, click.
Okay, sounds synced to me.
Sorry?
It sounds synced to me, is all I'm saying.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
So, this guy's first order of business is to increase his point item value, which on the right side of the screen is the one next to the blue token. It's 2290 right now or something, and he does that by grazing and picking up UFO tokens while he has a UFO summoned. Every little bit of point item value matters in the first few stages, so he's going to exploit every source of graze he can.
I see. So grazing is a factor in scoring.
It's a huge factor, definitely.
Yeah.
That's just to
grazing,
get the point value, the point item value up. The grazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Grazing, every 10 graze you get gets you 10 item point value. It's not the only way you can get point value. The fastest way, probably the first way anybody should really try, is collecting the UFO tokens while a big UFO is spawned, because you'll get 1,000 point value per token collected, so it's a big jump.
Yeah, but you have to be careful which tokens you collect, because you don't want to collect one that you're going to need for another summon.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So yeah, when you say these UFO tokens, these are the UFOs that the
Float around the screen.
Yeah, and
Yep.
they
Small
come
ones.
from enemies that have like these like they're kind of specific enemies that drop them. That's correct, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so there's 3 different colors. The blue ones are primarily what you're going to see spawned in this, which would give you times 8 the point value of anything you put in them. Well, any point items anyway. So you're going to see that spawned a lot because this is a score run. But there's 3 other kinds. You can get reds, which give you lives. So if you were just going for a basic clear, you'd probably get almost exclusively reds.
I remember
And,
that's what I did when I first played.
Yeah. And you could also get greens, which would give you bombs, and you can actually get quite a few bombs out of the greens. So,
Okay.
in
Yeah,
the later
filling up a
stages-
green gets you 1 bomb, and you can get a lot of green, so that's like enough to bomb through the entire game and only die once or twice. It's crazy.
Yeah,
Right.
pretty much. I mean, in the later stages, a lot of enemies drop just static green ones. They don't change or anything like that. So, ideally, you want to get lots of bombs and just bomb the crap out of the last boss.
Yeah.
But since
But,
this is a world record run, like he's not gonna be abusing that much, or
No, not particularly. He's gonna go for the spell card bonuses you get for beating all the attacks.
okay.
I'm
Spell
pretty
card
sure.
bonus is a relatively small portion of score, but it's like big and flashy, and it's something that you can go for no matter your skill level, so it's something a lot of people pick up on.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the only other UFO type is rainbow ones, which is got by collecting one of every color. And those will spawn more additional UFO tokens, as well as giving you times 4 point value on red ones, which are switched, because when you put them in a rainbow UFO, they'll become point items when you put the red power items in them, and vice versa.
Right.
So
right. And
you'll
when you
see probably on stage 4, there's a point where a lot of red power items are spawned, and he'll probably spawn a rainbow there and get tons of points from it.
Yeah, when you say like the UFOs get the point items, like yeah, the UFOs like when the big ones are out, they suck in all the point and power up items, and so that's the whole scoring mechanic of this game is.
And you'll see this guy. You'll see this guy spend a lot of bombs to facilitate that, because sometimes you can't kill every enemy on the screen in time, so you have to bomb and then summon the UFO while there are a lot of point items still on screen. And the timing window for that is sometimes like pretty difficult.
Yeah, you want to spawn them at really precise times.
Uh-huh.
And I do notice he does that in this run. So so the basic premise is that you try to fill up the UFOs with point items, and then you destroy them, and that's how you cash in on the multiplier of the big UFO. That's about as simple as I could think to explain it.
And in general, that's pretty much it.
Like fill up the UFOs.
That stage 1 boss's last attack is a teeny bit more difficult if you don't have a piercing attack, but still nothing that bad.
Okay.
Yeah, it's still only stage 1.
And just so viewers know, that first line of stars on the top right, that's the lives, and then the second one is the bombs. That's right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay. And then it has the power, and then the point. What's the second to last number?
Yeah, that's point value, and below that is graze.
Point value,
Okay.
and then the last is graze.
Okay.
Another little subtlety that you'll start to notice in this stage popping up is if you follow a UFO, so you're like really close to its collection hitbox, but not close enough to collect it, it won't change color. And so this guy like stalls to get certain color UFOs by following them around the screen.
That's pretty tricky.
Yeah, it is.
Very technical, because he'll try to drag around the UFOs for as long as he can. Spawn a big UFO when a bunch of tokens are about to spawn, and he'll collect them all and get like 7,000 point value just from that one big spawn.
So, are you always increasing your point value? Like
for the first couple stages, that's pretty much all you're going to do, because there's not a lot of point items that are dropped. So, in general, you're just trying to do as much as you can to increase your point value.
And then you truly cash in on the later stages?
Yeah.
Yep.
Primarily stage 5 and 6, though. There's a few cash-in points on stage 4 as well.
So the whole first half of the game is setting up for a cash-in at the end of the game?
Pretty
much.
Saying?
And you're going to do that entire cash-in with next to zero resources, next to zero wiggle room, because you've spent so many of your resources getting rainbows and stuff. That was a suicide right there. He used a death wave to kill the enemies and get a few extra point item value, I think.
Wow.
Did you explain that, or is that what he's doing?
He does suicide a bit later, but he makes a couple mistakes in this run. It's really interesting, because some of the earlier world record runs make almost no mistakes, but their strategy is just so inferior that it doesn't really matter. I'd really like him to do this without the red UFOs that he collects, because he uses that as padding for his mistakes. Though I'm pretty sure he does need one for some suicide a bit later, but I'm not.
Yeah, I think on Ichirin's last attack or something like that.
So just to clarify, this is a safe spot, right?
Oh yeah, you'll see tons of this. There's a safe spot here too.
It looks like the bullets are actually going over the sprite, but I don't know, because it's like blurry at the where it's being shot. You know?
Yeah, when the bullets spawn, they don't have a hitbox, so.
Oh.
But they still have a graze box, so you can graze them even if they can't hit you.
So, he's getting some good graze points. I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, you can continuously graze those umbrellas. Like, as long as you're touching them, they'll give you like a graze every frame.
I thought
it's
they
nice.
were Cocoa Puffs. Anyway. Alright, cool.
That safe spot is 5 pixels high. So it's kind of hard to squeeze into.
Yeah,
but with some characters, it's...
Just how small is the hitbox in Touhou game usually, or in this one? Is it like 4 pixels or 1?
They actually vary from character to character. The character he's using right now is Marisa, and hers is, I believe, 3.5 by 3.5, which is the biggest of the 3 characters.
Oh, really? Okay.
The others being 3 by 3 and 2 by 2. Now, she does have a bigger graze area because of her bigger hitbox.
Oh, okay.
So he's actually getting more graze most of the time.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it's probably because of that why he gets so much graze and so much more points out of this than the other characters. Though one of the other characters does have a really strong bomb, which helps him a lot for grazing stuff while being invulnerable during a bomb.
Yeah, because her bomb, Sanai B's bomb doesn't delete bullets for a while, so you can still graze them while you're invulnerable, and that helps.
Yeah.
I like this pattern.
Yeah.
And like the Lunatic modes in Touhou games are like full of these like really deceptively difficult patterns, huh? where it's like there's a really easy solution, but it's like at first you're probably just like, what the fuck am I supposed to do? I kind of get that, like I kind of get that feel from just like watching Lunatic bullet patterns. But like he clearly had the solution there, which was cool, and he made it look fun.
Yeah, they'll do a lot of safe spots in this mode, or Shin will anyway. In general, you probably don't want to do a lot of what he's doing to pass these spell cards and stuff, because he'll usually do it a harder way to get more graze or something like that. So there's usually a safer method than the weird tricks that he'll be employing.
Yeah, there are definitely better replays to look at for survival. Probably a no-bomb replay if you're wanting to just look to clear the game, figure out how to get past things.
Definitely.
It's a really satisfying clear, though. It's one of my favorite Touhou games.
Yeah, he's got some crazy-ass save spots on this stage. Like, this right here is incredibly random and very difficult to do.
But still, like, the same like clause applies. Like, since the things are spawning there, it's like he's pretty safe.
Yeah, he actually got pretty lucky there with the movements. You can see he did need to bomb after, but sometimes she can move in a certain way. And
can you?
Sometimes she literally bumps into you.
Oh, okay, you can bump into her. Okay, cool. Wasn't quite sure. Lolly on lolly bumping.
Oh yes, Touhou.
It's all about hugging the lollies. That's what this game's scoring system is.
Yeah, I remember the flower fists from this. Yeah, they're funny.
Oh yeah, this boss coming up is the funniest fucking thing.
Oh yeah, it was pretty hilarious when it came out.
Yeah, he's positioning himself really precisely to graze inside like that. Kind of a small thing, but because you got the dialogue, you have infinite time to set up the safe spot, so you could just get pixel precise.
Oh yeah, it looked like it was dead center where he was.
Yeah. I've only ever seen Shin do that. Only he considers it worth his time.
Wow.
Yeah, some of the other strategies are a little bit less risky.
Man.
I mean, a lot of people still try to graze those enemies. It's just not quite that precise, I suppose.
Well, it looked like he kind of risked his ass to get out of there after the safe spot was done.
Yeah, it only lasts for so long.
Oh, dang, he's doing it again.
Yeah, he keeps doing it all over the place. Shin is amazing to watch.
So it must have got a lot of graze from that. Yeah. So there's one
Definitely.
of the UFOs. Got the combination of the green, red, and blue, and it makes it so the power-up items change into point items. Right? And then so that section had a lot of power-up items. That's why he did that, right?
This is some of the craziest grazing here. This safe spot is incredibly small, and where he's
It's
using
pretty much pixel precise. There's one guy on my IRC who says he spent 100 hours learning this safe spot and still regularly fails
fuck?
it, so...
Come on, man. It's like the 2 pixels.
Well,
Yeah,
Seppo is kinda... yeah, I don't know.
This is like the teabag safe spot. Look where she's hovering, right over the face.
There's a less risky version where you just start on the right side of the laser circle and you get about like 3/4 the graze, but...
Yeah, when you're going for a world record, you need to do...
Yep.
But so much,
friggin' eye
so
thing.
much graze from that. It's crazy. It makes
Yeah,
it
he's
worth
spent
it.
double his graze in this fight.
That was a terrible pun.
I missed it.
So much graze, it's grazy.
So, yeah, crazy, yeah.
There's a way to safe spot this in hard mode, which is part of the reason it's actually easier to get 3 billion on hard mode. But it's not exactly a safe spot. You have to run around Ichirin while she's firing, and it's like a 3-pixel seam, so it's kind of crazy.
I like patterns
pretty
like these. They're like the bullet super, like the bullet information superhighway. It's like you gotta go in.
Yeah.
It's like playing Frogger.
Yeah, tons of safe spots in this game, unfortunately. I mean, if this game didn't have all these safe spots, it'd be, I think, a lot more intense, I guess. There'd be a lot more emphasis put on UFO collection and stuff like that. But as it is right now, there's just so much graze that, I mean, you spend like 10 minutes, I think, just milking bosses for graze.
I see.
So it's pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't think Zun really anticipated the graze milking potential in this game, because the first version of the game crashed when you got to 1 billion points. And even later versions, as soon as you got 2.14 billion, the score counter started decreasing because of an unsigned integer overflow or something like that. So, yeah, there's definitely some stuff that Zone didn't playtest here.
Yeah.
Yeah, those safe spots did look pretty finicky. Like,
Yeah, definitely.
Another one of those
like
crazy
you didn't
spots.
expect it. Yeah, what the hell?
This
Very
is entirely
luck-based,
luck-based.
Really?
Yeah, because the lasers can actually fire into your safe spot, so you just have to hope they don't get like that. It's another world record spot.
The world record spot. Just in the shit.
You can still do it pretty well, even with bad random numbers, because a lot of it you're bombing for, and you only really need to survive like 1.5 waves of the lasers.
Yeah.
But it's still
So
luck-based.
he's just doing this solely to see rack up the grays completely.
Yeah.
He's positioning himself for a super graze at the start of stage 4.
Okay. Yeah, this is
Another-
a lot of setups for the world record.
Yep.
All about the grays maximization.
I mean, I never.
So on this stage,
Yeah, I never
we'll
watched
see him spawn blues.
Yeah.
Finally.
Okay. So you got the blue. He's waiting to grab the blue. He's got it, and they get sucked in.
Try to time everything as best he can so he can get as much point items in it as possible.
So yeah, I was like reading like the little thingy, like you need like a certain number of items to get sucked up for the multiplier to reach its max level. It's like something like 60 items to reach X8 or something like that.
Yeah, it does vary per color, but it's about 40 to 50,
Okay.
which isn't that much, really.
Yeah.
Ton of items.
Looks like he had more than enough there.
Oh, also another feature of Touhou games that you don't see that much in this replay because of the UFO collection system is a POC, point of collection. If you go above a certain line on the screen, all of the items fly to you, and all of the point items are at maximum value under that circumstance. Sometimes I'm playing arcade games and I find myself accidentally POCing, and it's really retarded. So it's a very convenient tool.
Yeah, well, it's, it just rewards you for being aggressive, right?
Yep, pretty much.
And in the world record case, it rewards him for grazing like a crazy guy.
Yeah. So you can see
Okay, this is where you get the rainbows.
The, blue stuff, and then he'll spawn a rainbow here because there's tons of power items. So even though you only get ×4 the value, it's still a huge point increase. He'll bomb through this just because he can't kill all the enemies fast enough.
So, let me know when he's like truly cashing in.
You'll see some big
stuff,
cash-ins
his
on
stuff.
stage 5 and 6.
Yeah.
It's like filling
just-
up the UFOs and breaking them or whatever. That's only. Is that really mostly only adding to your point value then, or is that still like giving you an okay chunk of score? Like I'm not quite.
Yeah,
certain
when you
on
break
that.
the UFOs, you actually get the score out of it. Like the only way to increase your point value is through graze and collecting the tokens while a big UFO is active. Everything else will increase your score. So when he breaks one of those big UFOs, he gets ×8 the value of all the point items he's sucked up into that UFO.
Uh-huh.
So that's where he's getting his
And
points
that's
from.
based off the point value as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, so really it's doing both at the same time. It's optimization.
Right. Okay, cool. I think it makes sense.
Yeah, it's a pretty basic system, but all the implications of it are actually kind of deep, and I hate using the word deep with regard to video game scoring systems, but still, it's kind of cool.
It's a little weird, but I think I get it. I think it's not that it's not that hard.
Also, this boss fight is pretty rad. You got the anchors.
Oh yeah. Gotta love the anchor.
God, yes.
Pretty fun fight. Nothing too complex on it either. He doesn't really do anything weird in terms of scoring tricks. Just standard dodge and shoot.
Cool.
It's a pretty fun fight.
Yeah, this is... Yeah, the 4, 5, and 6 bosses of this game are just really, really well designed in general.
Pretty difficult compared to the other Touhou games.
Oh yeah. Definitely the stage 5 boss. That was... That was the point where a lot of the Lunatic level players in the Touhou community just said, "Oh my god, this game is unfair."
Suckers.
Just keeps milking all these patterns for more grays. Her
Okay.
non-cards, her regular attacks are all static, by the way, relative to her position. So he probably has some path memorized, which is why he's getting so much grays out of it.
This attack is kind of difficult because, like, the bullet movement depends on her position, so if she suddenly goes to one side of you, then you get bullets at a really steep angle, and also bullets from that attack continue to spawn during this last non-card. So, that makes this one of the most luck-based attacks in the game to get through.
So,
I can definitely see the potential for it ruining a lot of score runs.
was that a regular death then?
That would have been a suicide. He didn't have any bombs for the next stage. In the next stage, the mid-boss blocks a lot of enemies that spawn lots of points and UFO tokens. So he's just going to bomb the crap out of it just to kill it as fast as possible.
Yeah. It's a cool pattern. Kinda.
Yeah, that was definitely a suicide, but that attack is kind of difficult to get through.
I mean, it looked like it caught him. Like, oh well.
Yeah, sometimes it's hard to tell. You really got to look at their resources. I mean, I suppose it could have been a mistake, but
Yeah.
he could afford to make that mistake because he would have had to suicide a little bit later anyway.
It was the good kind of mistake.
Yeah.
Okay, now this attack is a forced timeout, which you generally don't see in anything except Touhou extra stages. Like, there's literally no way to get through it except to let the timer run to 0, and timeout attacks like this generally have phases that go and get more aggressive as time goes on, like her teleports get faster.
Yeah. She's kind of catching up with him. Whatever.
No hymns in Touhou.
yeah, I guess you're right.
Snazzy little graze at the end right there.
It's on to stage
Positioning
5.
himself.
Cool.
So we'll see some pretty big cash-ins on this stage.
Alright. Got the point item value at 100,000. Wow.
This is where shit starts getting real in terms of survival, especially from the mid-boss on.
223 million just
Whoa. That was crazy. That was a lot of items that got sucked up. That was mad. That was a mad chunk. You reached the.
So he just did a really neat trick there. When you pock, all the items come towards you, but the UFO overrides that at a certain point. So he tried to time it where he could drop all the items as low as he could, then get to the point of collection at the top of the screen there to drag all the items up a little bit, and then the UFO overrides that and collects them all up, so he gets more.
It's pretty
items
frame
out of it.
perfect, yeah.
Yeah, it's really technical. Not a big score increase, but when you're going for the world record.
Yeah, you got to
just
get
gonna
all
be what you do.
all the point items within those UFOs. Gotta suck them all up.
So this is the mid boss that he's just gonna bomb the shit out of.
That bomb.
There's
is
also the
cool.
stage 1 boss, interestingly. This attack he bombs for graze, he bombs it to spawn more enemies, and he bombs it because it is a real son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is probably one of the harder attacks in the game.
Yeah,
Thankfully,
those
you can
bullets-
bomb it for score.
Thankfully you don't see it in this run.
Yeah. Well, it would have been fun to watch him dodge it, but
Oh, definitely.
scoring.
It's a fun attack.
So he's already doubled his score since he'd entered this stage.
Yeah.
So all those big enemies there that shoot those circular patterns would have been blocked by the mid-boss if he had just killed it normally. So that's why he would have bombed through it.
Dang, a ton of point items. You weren't kidding.
Yeah. In the section where the enemies dropped red items, he got a rainbow, and in the section where they dropped blue items, he got a blue. It's just like the UFO tokens are perfectly placed so that you can get this ideal route.
Yeah.
It's just really, really technical to do so.
Right.
It's a very well-designed game with regards to the scoring system, actually.
450 from that UFO. That'll probably be his second biggest. He'll probably get a bigger one on the next stage.
Damn.
Won't be much bigger though.
Okay, now
Oh, you broke up there, RNG.
now he's done.
Words are hard.
Yeah, we didn't get that.
Yes, KB, I'm going to comment on the death. So he died a little bit before the boss there. That was a purposeful suicide, both to kill all the enemies on the screen to get all the point items, because he timed it a little bit off. Not a big deal, though. And he also needed to get the bombs for the next stage, which he'll use just to kill all the enemies in a really interesting way. I mean, I'll explain it when we get to it. Just because it's really easy to see once he starts doing it. It makes perfect sense. But it basically means he now has to perfect the rest of the game.
Right.
Which is fun.
All according to plan, right?
Yeah. Well, if he didn't make so many mistakes, I say so many, but he made very few, but if he didn't die a little bit earlier in the run, he probably would have had a spare life going to the final boss, which is what you want just to calm your nerves.
Yeah.
But whatever. I mean, this guy can handle it. He's an amazing player.
Yeah, I've seen some pretty nice dodges, that's for sure. Oh man, getting all that graze at the same time.
Yeah, this spot is actually really easy to do. It's probably easy to do for survival as well. You don't really want to be at the bottom of the screen for this. It's Kirby lasers and crap. It just fucks your shit up.
Attack.
Nothing special to do with scoring on these attacks or anything like that. Just kill them as fast as you can. Get the most bonus you can from the spell card reward.
That pattern kind of reminds me of the one of the patterns from the Ketsui last boss. The one with like, it has those like flares that kind of go up on the top and the right and the bottom and the left, and they come at you.
Oh yeah.
Kind of similar. I don't know why, but the yellow lasers are like more scary to me.
Well, they're pretty dense on that last attack, so it gets pretty tight.
Yeah, they look dense and like really wavy, like blurry.
So this will be the big cash-in stage.
All right, so last stage, right? Usually it's always 6 stage.
Yeah.
6 stages.
This stage is in general much easier than the last stage, but it has a lot more point items. It's pretty much just a cash-in stage, really.
Sweet. Alrighty.
Really technical with the UFO spawns as well.
So here's the first big one. He always waits till the timer's about... Or no, he just kind of killed it there, but... Seems like he sometimes waits a lot of the times to kill them at the last moment. Space Invaders?
Yep. This is a direct Space Invaders reference, actually. As soon as he
It is the UFO. I like that I did this game after Eschatos, too, because Eschatos had the UFOs as well.
Yeah.
It's like the UFO time. What are those? I think we lost RNG. RNG, we haven't heard from you, man. He's gone.
He's had enough of our shit.
He's like, fuck, it's stage 6. I can't bear it.
365.
What the fuck? Oh my god, so many points. That's gotta feel good, like, getting a nice run and then getting those huge cash-ins.
Oh yeah. It's very satisfying, but pretty angering when you miss them.
As always.
Time for the final boss, which he has to perfect. And it's not
Bit of a
easy boss
doozy.
to perfect.
Oh, you're back.
Oh, welcome back.
Yeah, sorry about that. I think these wireless headphones are running low on power.
Okay, well, we'll see what we can do.
You didn't really miss much. I was making a comment about the Stage 5 boss's lasers. Like, their hitboxes stay active a frame after they disappear, but...
Okay.
Dead dodging.
Cotton candy.
Look at this.
Is that spell card called Cotton Candy? The Cotton Candy Dreams of Lollies. Alright, I'm just saying shit now.
I just usually call this the purple shit that fucks me up. Freaking hard.
Okay, now...
Ooh. Those some sinister lasers.
This is probably one of our harder attacks as well. Those lasers are pretty brutal when they're... you get some bad random numbers.
It's all my fault. Yeah. Blame the RNG.
Well, I liked how he deal with that pattern. Like, he was constantly at a steady, like, he had a steady movement the whole time, which I liked.
Yeah, there are two ways to deal with that. You can macro it outside the stream of glowy bullets or inside the stream. They're like alternate methods.
That last attack was also 100% static. You can memorize the crap out of it.
Okay.
Definitely her easiest attack. Very disappointing when it comes immediately after that laser attack, which is balls to the walls.
Banana lasers!
DJ up in here.
Yeah, this game likes just destroying your mind with really weird bullet trajectories.
It didn't seem that bad, though.
Wait till you see your final attack.
Alright.
Yeah, curvy crap all over the place.
Dear God. That attack is like one of my nightmares in the entire Touhou series. I've captured it once, but it's just terrifying.
Nice. Just doing the old stick and move.
Yeah, pretty standard stuff right now. This attack is a bit of a throwback to Touhou 5, I believe?
Yep, it's Shinki's one of Shinki's attacks. It's much, much harder than it looks.
Yeah,
those
progresses.
Oh, as it goes on? Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Oh shit. I would have died.
Oh yeah, it just keeps going. Gets harder and harder. And all the stuff is all additive blended, so when they start crisscrossing all over each other, you can't tell which way they're going, and
oh dang.
Man, freaks you up.
Especially since you got Marissa A, whose shot is also ad blended, so like this game can be can't see shit at times on stage 5 and 6.
Because of all the effects.
Yeah, it's just a sea of white, and you can't tell where anything's going.
Yeah, this game.
What's with the Etch-a-Sketch? Come on.
Okay, final attack.
Okay.
Those
Another
card
one of those
bullets
attacks gets harder.
Yeah, those card bullets have really, really small hitboxes.
Okay.
But they move in such weird trajectories that it's kind of hard to predict what they'll do, so they can just fuck you over.
I remember this from playing it on just normal. Those being weird.
Yeah, it gets faster, denser, different colors, and all sorts of shit. Just the more you keep shooting it.
Yeah, if you pause,
out.
if you pause from shooting it at a certain time, then you'll get a slightly more favorable spawn point for the reds, which are where your real trouble begins.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can have them spawn at really weird times, so
Man, it
I know
just
some
gets
people
all
have tried to time it
So it gets all
differently,
foobarred if
but
you get like kind of a bad setup.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Well, that was pretty boss, man.
Yeah, do you want me to find an extra replay? Think that might be nice?
Yeah, if you can find it real quick. Oh, I guess I got some Batsugun suddenly playing.
Oh man, we're watching Jammers now?
Yeah. just for the hell of it. If you can find that video.
Boy.
Okay, I'll look for it. Yeah, I think I'm gonna use T's Reimue, and if T minds, I don't think he's watching this, so it's no big deal.
Oh, he's watching.
Yeah,
And judging.
whatever.
I can feel it.
Okay, I'm linking you guys to it.
Okay.
Alright.
Don't worry, guys. This stream is extra ghetto, so you'll probably see some of my windows popping up here.
NBD.
Let's see. Did you get it?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm looking. Where did you post it?
I PM'd it to you.
Okay. Trying to find it.
Got a lot of tabs.
Yeah, I do. Are you sure you put it in the right window?
I'll just post it on #shmups just in case.
Oh, I see. You put it in the IRC. Alright, sorry for...
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, we got it. Alright, we'll get this going.
Now we all know RNG's name.
Wait, what? What did I do?
The ghetto stream got you, man. Alright, let's see here.
Okay.
Turn off that Batsu gun. Make it
I used to use my real name as my scoring initials anyways, so I don't think it was that much of a secret.
Well, now we can stalk you a bit easier.
Thanks, Naut. I'll add you on Facebook.
Baby.
Alright, so, yeah, so what
Fuck
is
you.
this? What is this? Wait, get this Touhou hate out of here, or whatever. Anyway, so this is the extra stage. That's really all we need to know there, right? And it's the world record for it?
World record for one of the shot types.
Okay.
There is a higher record with another shot type that can cheese some of the spell cards for more graze, but this is the world record for Reimu A, I believe. Yes.
Yep.
Okay, cool. Alright, I'll do a countdown. You guys got the video at 0 or whatever?
Yep.
Alright, cool. 3, 2, 1, click. Alright, cool. I didn't even realize about the extra stage, so this would be cool.
Yeah, the extra stage is unlocked after you 1cc the normal game on normal or higher difficulty.
Okay. I like the music already. It's kinda upbeat.
Yeah, so the extra stage is a little bit different from the main game. Has a fairly short stage to it, probably 3 or 4 minutes or something like that. But this is where almost all the scoring happens, so the UFO summons are really tight. And I know I saw T get this replay, I believe. I think this is the one I saw. And he was trying it for quite a while, because just the simplest random number screw up can really screw up the entire run, really.
Is there really a lot of like RNG stuff in Touhou?
I mean, when you're watching the world records, the RNG plays a huge role, but
Really?
I mean, if you're going for anything below that, it's not a big deal.
I guess I have to consider that when you're talking about world record runs.
Yeah.
RNG, random number
Generator.
bull crap.
Yeah. Although with like 1 or 2 of the games, like especially EOSD, there are cases where the random number generator can occasionally throw an impossible wall at you.
Wow.
That game was not play tested very well, and that's one of the things that's so charming about it.
Charming, yeah.
That's one way of putting it. Oh, those jelly bean bullets she just fired, they're almost all hitbox. It's very tight to squeeze through them.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, they have a weird hitbox. The hitboxes are all squares, so with the jelly bean bullets, you kind of get leeway on one side and not enough leeway on another.
Oh, weird.
So, weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, this is one replay where you're able to see the records. Like if you look below the attack name, you see history. That's the number of times this person has gotten to the attack. Over the number of times the person has captured the attack, over the number of times the person has gotten to it.
70 out of 74, I think that was.
Yeah. With the other shot types, you can do some grazing by bombing and standing in the center of the laser spawn point, but Reimu A's bomb deletes all bullets around her from the moment it's fired, like that. So there's no way to graze during it. which definitely makes your score much lower than that of the other shot types.
Ah. Alright.
Now this is commonly referred to as the seizure grid. You don't get to see much of it, but it's one of the more difficult parts of the stage.
You just keep
So he's
spamming.
spending all of his resources trying to kill as many enemies as he can, spawn as many point items, and get all the UFO tokens, while still trying to time the UFOs properly. It's pretty tight, and at the very end of the stage here, you can get some really crappy random numbers, and I know he was battling with that for a little while, battling with some Japanese super player, Guran I think it was, probably pronouncing that wrong.
Oh man.
Yeah, Guran.
They had their roots really tight.
The Japanese roots. No, I'm just kidding.
Pretty much. So he just barely
Right.
gets that. Sometimes with the random numbers, the UFO can float off a little bit early. I mean, it's still on the screen, you just can't shoot it. So it can really screw you up when you're trying to time it down to 1 second. Well, tighter than 1 second, really.
Okay, now the extra bosses are generally like the longest battles in the entire game. They have about 10 life bars, and there are a lot of memorization-based attacks in them. They're not quite as challenging as Lunatic, but they're interesting attack concepts, is the point.
Yeah, generally not very challenging at all once you realize, like, the trick to it, I suppose.
Uh-huh.
Extra is really known for its weird trick-based attacks. And once you figure out the trick, I mean, it's almost trivial.
Okay.
Well, this extra stage, not so much, but
It's one of the
Some
harder
other
extra
ones.
stages, definitely.
probably, yeah.
Next to Subterranean Animism. I don't know.
It's usually regarded as one of the harder ones. I mean, they're still not particularly hard when compared to Lunatic, but once you realize the tricks, I mean, you can get through it pretty easily with the lives they usually give you.
Oh man. Those lasers are tricky.
The two waves are slightly different colors, so you can tell which one is going to move out at you first and which one's going to loop back. But if you're colorblind, you're fucked.
Still a scary read.
It's
I really don't know
fairly
how he does it.
It's a fairly similar green. It's like one's lemon, one's lime.
Yeah. There's not much scoring to speak about on the boss, unfortunately. It's one of the things I have a problem with on this extra stage. I think it would have been a lot better if there was like UFOs spawning, enemies, and all sorts of things in between attacks, because it would actually make this portion interesting from a scoring standpoint.
During
But
the
once-
bosses.
Once you perfect
Well, you got
the
speed killing.
stage
Got to stay under the boss.
Yeah, he does speed kill a lot of the attacks. I know that came up when he was trying to skim by the world record. Well, not really skim by, but I mean, it was still pretty close.
Because the bonus is constantly counting down, and the faster you kill it, the less you have to worry about that.
Yeah.
Pardon me for stating the obvious. Okay.
It's probably not obvious to somebody.
No, yeah, you guys should. Yeah, I mean, you could do to dumb it down a little bit. I've been trying to. It's all good.
Touhou
though.
fans, man, elitists.
Oh yes, every single one of us, of course.
Yeah, it's a shmups in general is kind of elitist. Sometimes
enough.
it's like, oh, we played the hardcore games, we're the best.
Pretty much.
It's like,
Yeah.
it's like, come on, man.
Are we beating League of Legends yet on Twitch?
Maybe that one like sucker that like sucks at League of Legends.
Well, that's comforting.
Yeah, it still gets 200 views.
He still gets 200, yeah.
Okay, now this attack is considered to be one of her most difficult, because it speeds up as time goes on, but it's still not really that bad.
Man, that
Yeah, you can see he's kind of leading it around so that she stays at the top of the screen. If you don't really know what you're doing, she gets on the bottom of the screen, you're not shooting her, and it lasts longer, and it's just a clusterfuck.
Okay, those bubbles, the only hitbox of them is the transparent point in the center. They're like really lenient.
Okay. Seems like you really gotta know your hitboxes when you're playing this at a higher level.
Oh, that's that's definitely the thing with Touhou, is that the hitboxes don't always exactly correspond to the sprite. And I mean, like, it's not like cave games post DOJ where the hitboxes are like 1 or 2 pixels in the center for the bullets. It's like, sometimes they can be really fucking weird.
This is one of her survival spell cards, so nothing to shoot. You just has to survive it.
Okay.
It's also her only one, because this is her second to last attack.
This is a really cool pattern. Dang. It's like the cellular split. See that in like a Gradius game or something.
Yeah, you can see he's trying to maximize his graze on this because he really doesn't have anything better to do on this. So he might as well get more graze for the minimal amount of points it provides, but it's not
checkerboard.
Yeah, the checker.
I saw one replay where the guy used annotations to play tic-tac-toe during this section. It was kind of silly.
Fucked up tic-tac-toe.
Yeah. I've never seen a more aggressive game of tic-tac-toe in my life.
Wow. Yeah, that looks tricky to do. Like,
yeah, the last few waves are
his
pretty
dodges look so deliberate. Like he practiced it.
Okay, now this final attack has 4 different phases, and there's also a secret timeout phase if you get the timer to go down to 30 seconds, where it's very, very difficult to dodge through. But yeah, no sane person would do that, so you don't get to see it.
That's pretty fun. Well, I mean, it's
Zun
mainly
just
to
includes
prevent
it.
people from just timing it out on the easy.
Yeah, Zun just
phases,
includes
or-
it as a screw you to pacifists.
There you go. That's it for the extra.
Right. Little dance of victory.
For some reason, that was a little more tame than I expected, but at the same time, like, this guy's making it look a little bit easy. When in fact, it's probably not that easy.
Well, the first half of the stage is definitely not that easy, but I mean, the last half, it's pretty much just speed kill the boss. So, it's not too bad. But the first half, definitely.
Right. Yeah, like, I noticed, like, when we're watching the Lunatic replay that, you know, there was kind of like a lot of tricks that you kind of figure out about how to do the boss patterns. Like, there's that one where it was like the washing machine, and he was just grazing against the bolts in that circular pattern. Like it seems like maybe for new players, like, do new players struggle like figuring out like, oh, maybe I should like be really close to the boss to like do this pattern? Because it seems like if you're like new to shmups or Touhou in general, like, people just stay at the back of the screen and they don't really ever figure that out. But it seems like, you know, being aggressive and experimental with the bullet patterns is really kind of a key thing with these games. Is that like more the case with the Lunatic? You know, learning like learning the various tricks of the patterns, I guess. I mean, I know I'm kind of like trying to mixing up gimmicks and tricks here, but tricks, I guess, would be kind of like, you know, you still need some execution to do it, but you also need to know how to do it. Whereas the gimmick would be like you could just memorize a dodge.
Yeah.
Something
On
like
Lunatic, it's not particularly prevalent. Like, there are some attacks, there's gimmicks, and there's some attacks, there's different tricks. Most of the tricks just come out of maximizing graze for most of the games. But on Extra, it's almost primarily gimmicks. Very few cards don't have something you can exploit.
Okay.
And by gimmicks, you mean mostly you're going to die the first time you see this, but once you have it done, once you have it memorized, it's no big deal.
Yeah, it's usually a lot more difficult if you don't know the trick.
Yeah. It's like oh, what's coming, and then like the banana peels get you or something like that.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised to see that you know, the Lunatic mode, you know, it looks pretty doable, like, as far as compared to arcade games. And I know we kind of mentioned that at the very beginning, like, a Lunatic clear of a Touhou game is, kind of a lesser feat than a 2-all in like an arcade shmup.
Yeah,
Like,
certainly.
would you like recommend people try to play Lunatic mode, like, in general for Touhou games, or would you recommend like hard mode? Like, what do you like? Is Lunatic always the way to go if like you really want to experience the true like bullet patterns, etc.?
Yeah, I mean, Lunatic is nice. If you're just starting out on shmups, or you probably don't have many clears or something like that, I wouldn't recommend just jumping into Lunatic.
Yeah.
Because while it is easier in general because you get more lives and resources to just throw away at it, so you don't really need to do anything difficult. A lot of times I find most new players or players that don't have many clears just don't spend their resources very well.
Mm-hmm.
So even though you get tons of them, and it's probably fairly easy if you use them,
They don't
probably not
bomb.
going to use them.
That's what you're trying to say. They don't bomb
Yeah.
because they're afraid like it's not honorable or something to bomb.
Well, a lot of times in the heat of the moment, you don't think of every option.
Yeah.
And, you can panic or whatever.
Well, if
But,
you're new to
yeah.
shmups,
Start on
like, you don't
normal or
have that
something.
panic bomb mentality built in yet.
But yeah, it's probably not a good idea to start on the Touhou series. Just bam, Lunatic. It's because I remember when I first started playing, like, I was watching Lunatic replays and like hearing people saying you gotta practice Lunatic to be able to play Lunatic. But like even on easier games like PCB and Mountain of Faith, I couldn't get past stage 3 on Lunatic for the life of me. And it took me like 1 or 2 years of arcade shmups before I was prepared enough to be able to go in and look at it and learn it and be able to execute it sufficiently. So Lunatic is definitely not a starter game, even if it's a bit easier, you know?
Yeah, the bullet patterns are overwhelming in Lunatic.
Definitely.
If you don't know what the hell's going on. So I guess
Especially UFO, it's sadistic.
So I guess working your way up in the difficulty chain is probably a good way to go. And
Definitely.
and using the stage select, because I know these games give you them after you reach the stage. So
Yeah, you can practice mode, and there's like, a dozen of the games. So even if like normal mode on one game is too difficult for you, normal mode on another is probably on your level.
right.
So you can really pace yourself quite well if you're interested in these games anyway.
Cool. So I guess I should ask you guys, I know you're pretty big Touhou fans, but what brings you back to the Touhou games? Like, why do you love playing them so much over arcade games or console shmups or any other ones?
I guess I'll start. It's different. It's a really different experience from the other arcade shmups. Like arcade shmups, normally you have maybe 4 or 5 lives less. There's not a lot of room for error, and it's usually a faster paced game in general. Probably trying to get your quarters worth or whatever. But these are usually, or Touhou games are usually slower paced.
They're fucking chill.
Yeah, oftentimes more technical, like you saw in that replay. It was all about trying to time the UFO tokens and things like that. I mean, not saying that arcade games don't have that, but all the Touhou games have that. So it's really technical once you get into it. And I find the technicality is pretty nice. There's also a lot of random elements in Touhou. I mean, we were talking about the random number generator, screwing them over a little bit.
I was surprised to hear about that, to be honest.
Yeah, there's not a lot that's like 100% static. You can micro-memorize it or whatever. So there's a lot of read and dodge elements, and I find that quite entertaining. I mean, I much prefer doing that over just grossly memorizing something like R-Type or whatever.
You don't like Psycho games very much.
Not in the least. Contrary to you.
Yeah, I don't know why I like both Psycho and Touhou. I can't really put into words why Touhou is one of my favorite shmup series. I guess partly for me, it's the fact that the hit detection seems kind of like... I know it's ridiculous to say this because there are like videos of ridiculous dodges all the time in Touhou games, but it seems like the hitbox detection's a teeny bit fairer. Like in Ketsui or Daiojo, which are some of my other favorite shmups, like you can pretty much run through a clump of bullets and still survive, because like the bullet hitboxes are so tiny and it detects every other frame. Touhou is like, if you got hit, you got hit. If you didn't get hit, you didn't get hit.
Yeah.
That's, I guess, one of the things for me. The other thing is just like the personality. It's like Zun's personality is really overflowing. All of his games are kind of flawed. Like, he does stupid little silly things, but it's his accidental game design, and sometimes he produces things that are just like gems that are just ingenious that you wouldn't think of otherwise.
And I guess that could be like maybe just, you know, one of the bullet patterns that just really like amazes you, or is like you like conquering a certain spell card or whatever, I suppose.
Yeah, he programs drunk and sometimes does cool things with it.
Right.
And I guess the third thing I really like about the Touhou series is the fact that there's like an even staircase of challenges for you. There's always something slightly more difficult. No matter what level you're at, there's always going to be a challenge for you, because there are so many difficulty settings, there are so many potential ways to play the game, there are so many challenges. It's just a very versatile series that can be appreciated by almost everyone who enjoys shmups at all.
Cool. Well, that answers it pretty well. I mean, to me, it's like, yeah, I like that kind of idea of like a kind of a chill game, because it's like the bullets, you know, a lot of the times they're not that fast, so it's like you see them coming, and it's almost like you can kind of like analyze it in your mind and think on the fly, like, oh, I can probably dodge it this way or so. Kind of like it makes you think a little bit differently, I think, when you're doing some of those weird dodges. And I think one of the main things I like about them is just the whole it's just like the whole micro dodging thing. Like, Touhou games seem like they're the king of micro dodging, with all the
definitely,
with like bullets that are like going in all directions, yet they're going slow and they're like surrounding you. Like,
yeah,
it seems like,
but
you know,
it also teaches you that micrododging isn't the answer to everything. Like with UFO Stage 3, there was that one section where the enemies were firing those fast three-way spreads at you, and you have to circle around. So that's one of the cool things about Touhou, is it teaches you so many alternative dodging strategies. It teaches you to use every tool available at your disposal.
Yeah, so I guess for new players, I guess the best advice would be to not play Lunatic or the hard mode right away. Just take your time and
ease yourself into
just
it.
ease yourself into
Definitely.
it. Try to have fun and don't be discouraged. And seek out the resources. Various communities and stuff if you have questions. So actually, it really pleases me to kind of like get this idea that Touhou games are good for beginners, because I don't know, more people could, maybe some people who tried Touhou could revisit the series or something.
Definitely. I mean, if you try
Definitely.
one game, trying another one could be completely different. I mean, in general, they're going to be the same, I guess. A lot of micro dodging, a lot of this, a lot of that. But like the scoring system in UFO is completely different from the system in like PCB.
Perfect Cherry Blossom, yeah.
Any other Touhou
Hive
games
Mind.
you'd recommend personally from each of you?
Any other Touhou games?
Yeah,
well,
which ones are
UFO
your
would be my
favorites?
favorite. I'd probably recommend either Subterranean Animism or Mountain of Faith. I like both of those. And Mountain of Faith doesn't even have a grazing system, so if grazing
There's
sort
less
of
milking,
turning
yeah.
you off,
Less milking.
that's a nice one to get into. It's this weird chaining mechanic, but it's actually pretty decent.
My
I'm not
recommendations.
saying
My recommendations are pretty much the polar opposite of Naut's. I'd recommend EOSD. Yeah, I know. Just because it's less lenient with resources than the rest of the games. Like, you don't have a gigantic number of bombs, and there are some interesting boss fights and some interesting random dodging and stuff. So it just teaches you to, especially in Stage 5, be aggressive. And I think it's a really good game for new players because it's introductory, but it's also really deep, and there are a lot of things you can do with it. And like, I would say 10 Desires because it's an easy clear, but 10 Desires is a shit game, and I'm saying this as a person who just played 35 hours of it in like 2 weeks.
You
So
finally figured it out.
yeah, I do not like 10 Desires, and I would not recommend it to anyone. But yeah, Subterranean Animism, Mountain of Faith, The ones I wouldn't recommend to starting people are Imperishable Night, because it's like very, very highly memorization based, and there's lots of stuff that screws you over until you know practice methodology. And Phantasmagoria of Flower View, because it's very different from the other games and doesn't adequately prepare you for the rest of the series.
Okay, cool. Alright, well, I don't know, we're pretty much ready to wrap up the show. You guys got any final shout-outs or anything like that? Or any else to note about the series?
I mean, it's a good series to start off on if you're just getting into shmups. There's lots of difficulties to start off on. It's definitely something you should check out. And even if you're a veteran, Lunatic modes are not the easiest things in the world, and there's lots of different challenges and scoring and all that kind of thing to get into. And even if, like, this UFO game here isn't your thing, you're not really interested in collecting slow-moving objects floating around the screen, all the other games have drastically different scoring systems.
Yeah,
so
you get a lot of variety, for sure.
Yeah, there's something for you to try in every game.
Cool.
Yeah.
Alright, right on. Well, yeah, thanks you two for coming on and talking about Touhou.
Thanks for inviting us.
Thank you very much for inviting us.
Yeah, it was great, and perhaps I'll have you guys on for another something.
Yeah, I'd love it if you can pick something like Diojo or something.
Diojo? Oh, man.
Oh man, if you had a Dragon Blaze week one time, I would definitely be willing to nerd all over that.
Dragon Blaze, that'd be cool. Yeah, Psycho, definitely down the line. You know,
Alright, thank you.
So yeah, thanks
again.
guys, and thanks to the got something like 50 people watching today. So yeah, shout outs to the viewers, and that's it. So yeah, take it easy and get
50 people who now know my real name, dear God. I'm the only person with my name on Facebook. I'm gonna get a lot of friend requests. See you around.
Oh god.